Hi everyone, my name is Mac and I'm the founder of Feyday. In today's YouTube episode, we have Weng Leong from Grof to share more about his experience. Weng Leong?
Hi everyone, my name is Weng Leong. I am the co-founder of Grof, which is basically a digitally enabled accounting firm in Singapore.
Great. So Weng Leong, can you share with me for Grof itself, how long have you been running this business already?
So we have been around since 2019, so around 6 years, coming to our 7th year in operations. So when we got started, we actually acquired a small firm, right, and then grew from there over the COVID period. And this year we actually acquired our second company.
Exciting. Can you share more about your second company?
So basically it's a company called ActPro. So it is also a company that is in Singapore doing accounting. What we like about the business that it serves a slightly different business segment from ours, with a very strong focus in IT implementation for SMEs.
Great. Okay, so seems like you have 2 times experience acquiring a business. That's a really rare experience, right? So, can you share with me in the first place, right? For Grof itself, what makes it so unique and special about it, and what kind of market are you focusing on?
Okay, we are positioning ourselves as a digitally enabled company, right? So what we observe about the market is that it's a huge market. A lot of SMEs require the services, and what we try to do is to bring price transparency and also a very good level of service to the market here. So how we actually do this is that we are digitally enabled, meaning that we have actually created our own applications to streamline the entire onboarding process, manage the client base, and that allow us to actually lower our costs and sort of offer that value to our customers.
Got it. Wow. Seems like you have. So maybe you can also share with us how big a company, what's the headcount like, what would be, is there any specific industry that you are serving and so on?
Interesting question. So today we've sort of the most recent acquisition, right? We are around 50 headcounts.
Sure.
Most of them are actually based remotely in other countries, right? Our customer base is largely across Singapore and Malaysia. So that's our 2 main markets.
Great. So do you see any difference between Singapore market and Malaysia market?
A very interesting question. I think to a certain level, they are quite similar, right? Given the heritage, the Commonwealth law that both countries are in. I think what is happening very recently is that Malaysia has a big move towards e-invoicing. So the government has mandated e-invoicing across the whole nation for all companies except at the tiny end. And that has created a big wave of digitalization for the SMEs in Malaysia. So there's a big demand for companies like us to help SMEs to digitalize their operations and to be compliant with the e-invoicing requirement.
Very cool. So if I'm to ask you for any tips in terms of any Singapore company that want to expand to Malaysia, what would be your top 2 tips?
Number 1 tip is come to us.
Okay.
That's basically what we do, right? And we offer anything from helping you to get set up there, set up a company and provide sort of the basic compliance services for you to get your operation started in Malaysia. I think a very recent sort of trend is the entire sort of Johor, Singapore special economic zone, right? There's a lot of attention to it. Right, a lot of incentives are geared towards the more larger companies, right? But there's certainly a lot of flow over, as sort of the larger sort of MNCs move across the border to relocate themselves in Johor, right? There will be sort of spillover benefits to SME as well.
Got it. Okay, so you do see that there will be a lot of Singapore companies relocating part of their operations there.
I think for sure. I think what we have observed in the last few years, right? I mean, cost of doing business in Singapore is increasing every year, right? And certainly, I mean, at least for a business like ours, which is very human service related, right? Where service is actually the main human is actually the main cost of our business. right? I think business like this generally, and also with COVID, a lot of people are now very used to working from home. Okay, and that allows sort of that remote workforce to rise up, right? And nowadays, doing business, servicing your clients across borders, across the internet is no longer something new or something strange.
So let's say since we are in the topic of Malaysia, right? For any companies that is to potentially relocate part of their operation to Malaysia, what kind of cost saving they can expect in terms of percentage wise?
I think it's a bit hard to say, right?
Sure.
I mean, I think let's say if you're just speaking purely about headcount cost,
Sure.
right? I think a lot of people think that because of the ringgit Singapore dollar is 3 times, right? You get 3 times the saving. Yeah, that's not really true, lah.
Yeah.
Right? You probably get maybe 50% savings, right? On a 1:1 basis.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course, I think what we also see is that I think the skill sets are different. Right, skill sets are different, capability, productivity are also different. There is still in certain industry, right? I think there is still value having sort of the Singaporean headcount, right? For example, like in our example, because we are a regulated business, the ability to understand the local taxes, accounting standards, or the ability to work with the clients locally, I think those are also important criteria to at least have that sort of a local workforce here to support the businesses here.
Great. Okay. So if you are looking for accounting service, please look for Weng Leong. Okay. So coming back to it, can you share more about your professional experience, right? So that the audience can understand like your journey all the way till today.
Yeah, so I didn't start as an entrepreneur, right? I started my career in finance, right? So I started my career as an investment banker, doing M&A, IPO, capital markets. Then I kind of moved into private equity, right? That's where I kind of learned a lot about business, right? But I never really managed my own business until Grof. So Grof is the first business that I've started and run until today. So I've certainly learned a lot during this journey as well.
Great. So you started from after you graduate, you step into the investment side of things, which is a very sexy career, right? Everyone is like trying to climb into that kind of a career space. How do you even manage to get in there, right? That's like in today's challenging job market. I think this make it even more sexier, right?
I mean, I think it's a lot of trial and error, a lot of hard work. Right, like I said, I think it's not easy, and I think during people of my generation, right, actually we are not very equipped with career knowledge.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, when we go to school, go to college, go to university, by the time we graduate, most of the time we don't even know what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right, and it's really through trial and error, talking to people, going for attachment, internship. That's where you kind of learn what you want to do, right? And I think a lot of this getting into your entry, I think it's a lot of luck, right? A lot of hard work to try to get there. I mean, I obviously take all the certification, your CFA, all these things, right? Which helps a little bit, but ultimately I think it's really the hard work and really building a network, a connection that they help me to actually get a foot in the door.
Oh, okay. So you actually put in a lot of effort behind the scene to get the right connection to get into that space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think this is a very important tip. Like some people just visualize that applying for a job can get them their dream job, but here's the tip. Tip number 1. Okay. So back to which, what is it about the investment banking career that most people don't know about? All right. I mean, on the surface it looks glamorous, right? You get a very nice fat paycheck at the end of every month, but behind the scene, what is the not so openly discussed?
Actually, I think in investment banking, right, the ugly side also quite well known, right? In the sense that as a junior, you're asked to work very hard, right? I think the hours and a lot of quantitative work is needed. A lot of people say that you got to tweak your PowerPoint, change the font size. These are all actually, you ask me, fairly true. A lot of time it goes toward perfecting the pitch, right? I think what people maybe don't know a lot about the industry, right, is actually I think a lot of what we see or what we read is very customized for the Western world, right? You know, the New York, the London markets, right? In Asia, Singapore and Hong Kong are actually quite different, right? Quite different from how the market works, right? In the sense that there is the depth of the market, the volume of the deals you see are not as high, or not even a fraction of what you see in New York or in London, right? It is a lot smaller, and that in a way it may hamper your career path, right? You know, because you will not get the same career path as a junior in New York, right? So I think that is something that firstly is quite different. So if you have a choice to start your career in investment banking, always try to start it in New York, in London, right? I think that will set you up better.
Oh wow, tip number 2. New York or London, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, so you make a transition from investment banking to become an entrepreneur, right? Where you acquire Grof. On that part itself, of all business, why an accounting trade of like everything, right?
Also interesting question. Actually, why I chose the trade is actually and in a way like an investment choice, right? The history of why I sort of entered into this industry, right, is because while assessing different industry for investment, we actually zoom in this particular industry because it has a lot of profiles that investors would like. Like for example, customer base are pretty diversified, revenue are recurring, it's a compliance business, so everyone got to buy that kind of business, right? So these are the traits that an investor would like, right? But there is also some serendipity involved also, because I'm not a professional accountant, right? So without the license or even the knowledge, I can't actually do this trade.
Correct.
Right. So where serendipity arises is when I talked to my co-founder, who is my classmate many years ago. The first time we talked about it, it wasn't the right time, right? So we talk about it, nothing happens for 2 years. Then 2 years later we had lunch, and then suddenly he said, "Remember what you told me? I'm going to do that." And that was the right time for the both of us, and we just decided to just pursue it together.
Wow. Can I ask, like back then, when was that? Like how young or how old were you back then?
So that was 2018. So I started business in 2019, right? So I first spoke about the idea about this industry to my friend in 2017, right? Then in 2018, that's when we had that lunch, the eventful lunch, and then we agreed to try to do this together. Then the next time we met, he told me he resigned.
Oh wow!
So that got us started. Right.
Back then, you are in your early 30s?
Late 30s.
Late 30s?
Yes.
Wow. So a leap of faith. Back then, are you like you have like family commitment?
Yes. So I have 2 young kids at a point in time.
Wow, really a leap of faith.
Yes, it is a leap of faith. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So it really takes. I mean, one of the things that most people may have neglected is that to start a business or to quit your job and to buy over a business, it actually takes a lot of courage.
Agree.
It really takes a lot of courage, Right. Yeah. So okay. If let's say today you to go back 7 or 8 years ago, right? You go back to 2018, right? If it's not an accounting firm, what would be the second choice you would pick?
Wow, this is a tough one, man.
Tough
one. To be honest, I don't really know, right? And I do know the traits of the business that I like, which is exactly I say, this ability for recurring revenue. I think these are the stuff that I like a lot, right? But you ask me, I don't really have a very clear idea what else would have done at the point in time.
Okay, great. Since Weng Leong is in the investment banking, let us ask him for another tip, okay? What kind of traits is important for an individual to look for in a business when acquiring it?
Okay. I think depends on your situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, when I started this business, it was because I like the traits of the industry, this kind of thing, right? And I also felt that given I'm an outsider, right, I don't have like a special industry experience. It is also a trait that I can potentially learn. In the sense that it's not rocket science, right? It's not like I need to learn how to fly a plane or build a rocket, right? So I felt it's something that I can learn, right? That also helped me to say, yeah, it's something that I would like to try.
Okay, so number one is what? The
traits of the industry. It's attractive for an investor.
Yeah.
So things like it's recurring revenue,
Okay.
diversified customer base.
Okay.
Right. Then secondly is that potentially is something that I can learn.
Okay.
Right.
3 tips.
I can learn to do it because as a business owner, you must kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, makes sense. So recurring revenue, diversified customer base, and also not a very steep learning curve, I would say. Any other tips?
I mean, also potential for the market, right? Potential for the market for growth, right? I think this is something that you think about. For example, what is the dynamic of the industry, right? For example, my industry is actually very fragmented. A lot of the players are very small, right? So you're not like going against Amazon or Google where where it's going to be a very tough fight, right? And also potential for the business to grow, right? I think that's quite important.
So fragmented market as well as growth potential, right? Okay, that's a very good tip. Must thank him for it if you buy a business, right? So okay. So before you acquire Grof itself, right? What are the do you have any expectation, like let's say today you buy over this company, 3 years down the road or 5 years down the road, what needs to happen so that you know that my decision is a success?
Interesting question. So when we decided to go ahead, right? Like any sort of corporate guys, right? We sat down for a few months and we kind of wrote a business plan, right? And you ask me today, business plan is totally off. It's totally off, right? And I think obviously we learned a lot of things along the way, right? And honestly, at that point in time, I don't think we will actually imagine that we have the skill of today, right? And we were like almost thinking that you can build a decent business that can substitute salary. I think that's a pretty good outcome already, right? Then anything beyond that is outside, right? So that was in a way like the initial thinking lah. Start small, and then get it going, and then we see what happens after that.
Yeah, I think that's a very down-to-earth expectation. I think that compared to many of the buyers I met, which I suspect that they have very, very high bar. I think that sometimes having I wouldn't say low bar, but having a much more realistic expectation makes your life easier, right?
I mean, but that being said, right, we have realistic expectation, right? But we are also like ambitious in a way. And when I meant ambitious, it means that in a way, we have certain goals or skill of size that we want to build to, right? But we know that it's not going to happen in 2-3 years. We are comfortable with taking the time to get there, right? For example, I think we always imagine that we want to go regional, right? That's something that we always imagine we want to do. Okay, but I think along the way we obviously learn certain things along the way, and then we also try different things, which some of them are successful, some of them are not successful as well. Okay, and today and it's always a work in progress, right? Because every year you look at where you are, you realize that you have achieved certain things, you have failed on certain things. Where do you map the next 2-3 years? And it's always a work in progress in that way.
I think that's a good thing. So one thing, right? I mean, you have a co-founder whom you together acquire a business, right? For any individual looking for a business partner for any endeavor, right? What are the few things that they have to keep in mind, right? I mean, it's so important because having the right partner will literally make or break you.
That's true. And also that's what we see, because as a incorporation agent, accounting firm, right, we see a lot of our clients' business fail because of fights between the founders, right? So I think that's probably a leading reason of why business fail, if you ask me, right? So I think finding the right co-founder, I think the most important thing is someone that you can trust. Integrity. I will look for the soft factors, right? The trust, the integrity, the same stage of life, right? So that your vision, your goals can be pretty much aligned. Then at the end of the day is a willingness to compromise, right? It's a lot like marriage, right? You cannot win all the time, right? You got to sometimes, say what you want, but also let your co-founder win also, right? So I think in the end, I think that willingness to work with each other, I think it must be there. I'll say that that's probably the most important criteria to have.
Okay. Give and take lah. Okay, important So another question is that 7 years is a meaningful amount of time, right? You buy over a business, you learn on the job itself. You have some victory, you make some mistakes as well. Can you share like what are the success that you had during these 7 years, and what are some of the mistakes that you may have made?
I think one of the things that we are the most proud of is really the culture and the team that we have built. Okay, so I think when my partner and me started, right, we worked like 15 years in corporate, right? So we know the kind of bosses we don't like, and we try not to be the kind of bosses that we don't like, but sometimes it's hard, right? And we try to take the approach of like, hey, we empower people, and then we give trust. Trust is given until it's taken away until you breach that trust, right? So that is kind of how we kind of operate. I think that has actually allowed us to build a team that is young, driven, willingness to go the extra mile, which I think we are very grateful for, right? And that is really, I think, one thing that we are immensely proud of, and hope to continue to retain this kind of culture even as we grow the business.
Very good. I think I used to be HR, which sometimes when I say it out, I also feel surprised because I can't believe that. I can't believe that, and I also don't believe that I have the traits to be a HR. But anyway, that's long story short. So I think that this soft part is so hard, right? That's like what people call the art or science, right? But this is the art, and sometimes it's so intangible, right? So hard. Okay. So this is very important. So how about one or two of the I would say learnings or mistakes that you have made over the last 7 years?
Learnings and mistakes. I think if I were to say a few things, I think one thing is the big one will be, in a way, as I said, right, we started business as a service business, then we invest a lot into technology, right? But along the way, we kind of went sideways, right? And we tried to build a sort of take a shortcut, right? We tried to build a product, right? A fintech product, in fact, right? Wow. That we thought that that will leapfrog us, make us more attractive, make us more differentiated, and all these things, right? And it all turns out to be much more difficult. And much more expensive, right, than we imagined it would be. Okay, so you asked me, that is actually a very good learning, right? And I think the fact that we have done something like this, it actually proves our ability to execute, right? But at the end of the day, I think we also concluded it's not a sustainable endeavor, right? And we had to sort of make the painful decision to actually shut it down, right? And withdraw that product from the market, right? So that is a lesson learned that we have, that maybe sometimes we need to do things step by step, right, rather than trying to leapfrog and jump, right? That's one thing. And maybe another thing is sometimes we also learn, which I think is also important, right, as we build a team and we scale the team, right? When we find that the personnel doesn't really fit in, it's actually better to cut early rather than let's try to make it work, right? Because I think that actually it harms both the individual and also the organization as well, right? And that's why we kind of like mandate for our leads, right? Within 3 months they must decide, right? And if they are not sure, it's better that they let the person go and find another candidate.
Wow. Okay, you have a good point as well, because sometimes whether you call it cultural fit and personality fit, it's like is it a square knot in a round hole?
Correct.
Or it's I get that. Able to share more about the products that you develop, what kind of product?
Okay, so basically what we do, a lot of focus is incorporation, right? We help individuals set up companies, right? And usually after you set up a company, the next thing a company needs is a bank account, right? So what we try to do is to build kind of a neobank, right? Which is basically a digital business account, right? That allows our clients to one-stop shop, open a company with us, but also a business account at the same time. Then they are immediately in business to receive money, pay their vendors, issue debit cards to their team, so that they can go and do business, right? So that was what we built in the past. But however, as you know, fintech is a very sexy product, right? And the competition we are going after are billions-dollar unicorns, right? And that proved to be a difficult endeavor.
So lesson learned, don't go into sectors that has very strong players backed by a few $1 billion, right?
I think the playing field is just different. Right? Unless we try to go and raise money,
correct,
and fight the same game. Otherwise, it's not something that we are equipped or set up to do.
Makes sense. Wow, that is a if you ask me, I think that sometimes I do encounter. Yours is maybe you try to take it to the next stage, right? But sometimes on my side, I find that as an entrepreneur, maybe I do get drawn to shiny objects as well. This one looks very exciting.
But it looks like can do. Then the trap is there already.
So I think the ability to stay focused. Just focus on improving your operation and customer acquisition. All this, doing it well is so hard, right? Not say hard, but it's so easy to go off the rail.
Correct. I think there will be a time. There will be a time, hopefully, when you're large enough for you to take that step of the next product. Right? But I guess sometimes we are maybe too early in the sense that our organization is not sizable enough to do that. Right? And fight that game against the big boys.
A lesson learned. Right, it's okay. Okay, so for yourself, right? How was the transition like, right, from an investment professional to SME business operator, right? For the first 2 years, how was it like?
Okay, so I think the pace is very different. Right, pace is very different because when you are doing the investment job, whether it's investment banking or private equity, right, the pace of life is very different. The pace of life, I would say, is like you only need to do X number of deals every year, right, for you to kind of earn your keep. Right, but when the deal starts, intensive, 2-3 weeks, hardcore work, very little sleep, and this kind of stuff, right? So that is the case. But the rest of the year, maybe you can go and drink coffee, have 2-hour lunch, so you're building relationship, right? So that's the pace of that kind of work, right? Whereas when you are in like what I do today in SME and operation, every day is a fight. You're fighting fire somewhere, right? Whether is it someone just resigned, a customer complain, the toilet choke up, so something is burning that you got to fix. Right, so the pace is just a little bit, but it's every day. I think ETA also. So our ETA, we do ETA before ETA become popular, like I say, right. So we never raise money; it's our own money, right? But if you would do ETA and you're actually borrowing money from the banks or you are raising investor funds, I think it's also quite different, right? In the sense that there's a level of governance. Need to be ready from day one, right? You need to be able to have some financial competency. Make sure you can do your books. Make sure you can pay off your lenders. Make sure you can report to your investors, right? So it's a kind of a different skill set.
So from your observation itself, because these days, sometimes I organize events, right? There are people who say, "Hey, I want to pursue ETA in a few years' time," right? But obviously, a lot of them, they tend to be on the younger side, right? So what kind of individuals are not so suitable to pursue ETA? like everyone can say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? But the truth is, not everyone is called out to do this and that, right? So who are those kind of people what kind of traits that they have that, okay, they should not touch this?
I think very hard to say. I really think that any personality can perform well, right? It really depends on the circumstances, the situation you're in, and there's a lot of factors involved, right? I would say that maybe the one that shouldn't pursue will be the kind that cannot sleep well at night kind of. Right? Because I think when you start from scratch, right, at least you build it up. Yes. Right, it's very small, because when you start, actually it's the best time to stay alive because you have no cost. Yeah, it's just your own cost. Yes. So technically, you slowly build up and you gain confidence. You hire your first headcount, you gain confidence in the business, and then you build it up over time, right? Whereas when you do ETA, suddenly you have 20 staff. Then the next month the sales is not happening, or you cannot pay your staff. That becomes a stress and a burden for you. Yeah. And you are really dropped in the deep end from the start. Yeah. Right. So I think it's a different kind of context. But I also say that entrepreneurship is also an evolution of skill sets. Okay. Because when you start, you bootstrap the business. Correct. And you have nothing. You got to figure out how to close your first deal, figure out how you do your product and all this kind of thing. Then after that, you start to develop a system. Okay, invoice come in. How do I make sure the work gets started? After that, it becomes a talent management, right? How do you hire the right people, put them in the right place, give them the right objective to work on, right? So that's how an entrepreneur kind of grow, right? Whereas ETA, you kind of get dropped in middle or end already, right? You kind of skip the entire first stage. Right, and in a way that might be a pity for some people because you will learn where are you better at and which part of the journey you actually enjoy the most, right? And if you were to like get dropped in the middle or the end, you never get to experience the first part.
Well, that's true. I mean, pros and cons, right? On one end, they get dropped in the middle or the late stage. They don't get to experience certain things, but they also skip some of the risks, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Which is okay. Yeah. Then what, in your opinion itself, the first 2 years for yourself after you bought over the business, what is the most important skill that you learned, or traits that you have cultivated?
I think a few things right. I think there's a few dynamics here, right? So a lot of things you learn along. Like for example, I learned that I'm really bad at the admin work, right? Like for example, when we got started, we try to do everything. I could experience everything yourself, right? Yeah. I try to do the documentation for client. I realized, I make a lot of mistakes. I realized actually I'm not really cut out for this kind of work. Right, and that's where you learn about what you're good at, and then learn about what you're not so good at, right? True. And then you kind of divide up the work with your, let's say in my case, a co-founder, right? Okay, this is where that's how you divide the work, and this is what I do, that's what you do, and that's kind of mainly based on competency. But then as we grow as a skill, we start to have other people working for us. I think the art of learning how to delegate, right, is also important. And when you learn how to delegate, you also need to give up being a perfectionist. True. Right? Because nobody is exactly the same as you. True. The work product of who you delegate to will not be the same as yours. Okay. And if you expect them to turn out the same thing as what you did, right, then you might as well do yourself because that's not going to happen.
True. I mean, you have a good point here. Yeah. Okay. It's able to share like when you buy your first business, right? How much do you spend to acquire the business and the deal structure? If you are able to share. If not, then we can always.
I mean, again, it was before ETA search funds are popular, right? So we never thought about raising money. Okay. It was really our own money. So the first criteria is something that our risk appetite can feed, sure. Right? So it's not a very big deal, right? That in between a few of us, we can agree to invest on that amount. Okay, deal structure I think is very typical of, let's say, the micro deal, right? That is basically a upfront fee, and then a big proportion is based on a certain target earnout in the following year, right? And that helped to reduce the risk of the investment, right? In the sense that really after you own it, then you look at the number, then you say, is it really worth the second payment or not?
Okay. So you structure it as an earnout structure.
Yes.
How many percent on the upfront and how many percent on the later stage of the earnout?
I don't really remember, but it's probably more like 60-40, 70-30, that kind. Okay. And our earnout is a bit special. I think it was also a revenue-based earnout. It's not an earnings-based earnout.
Okay, I think that's fair lah. I mean, so back to it. do you think that ETA is something that is suitable for everyone?
I mean, I think it really depends on the personality, right? And if you are, I mean, firstly, not everyone should be an entrepreneur, right? Not everyone should be an entrepreneur. I think that's one thing, right? And for those people who are keen to be entrepreneur, I think ETA will always be maybe a smaller proportion of it, okay? Because it's just so difficult to find assets, right? So. And getting the asset at the right price to transact at is, again, there's a complexity on complexity, right? And then also, I think the whole thing also, again, your risk appetite. Are you willing to put the money up front, right? And then are you going to start from scratch and you just trickle the money in? It's also a very different risk profile that every individual need to think for themselves.
You are right. Okay. Then
What I do think for the ETA that we did the first deal, right? I think it helped us in getting started. Okay, because this is something I always say, right? Your paycheck is a drug, right? As long as you are getting paid, right? It's very hard for you to say, okay, I'm going to do something else. You'll say, I do a side hustle, you do it on the side, and as long as you're getting paid, you're not going to go all in, right? I think a lot of, I think that's a mentality of at least a lot of Singaporeans think that way. Okay. But the ETA forced us to get started because once we close the deal, we must run the business, right? We cannot no longer talk about it, write business plan, and continue to brainstorm, right? You got to start running a business.
I mean, the good thing about it, the way I look at it, is that yourself and your co-founder, you all took the first step. I mean, the thing that I see among many acquirers or searchers or buyers or investors, right? However you want to name it, is that they're always looking for the most perfect. And then many a times, I don't think there's a perfect one, right?
Yep.
If it's so good, like so well in such an ideal industry with such a good economics and business fundamentals, likelihood the price will be priced out of your.
Yep.
If it's, then sometimes, I mean, I do come across people who spend like 2 years, 3 years still looking for asset to acquire. Sometimes I do feel that if you can't find an A grade business, at least find a B or B plus, then acquire at lower price, then work towards it, right? I mean, that's how I feel. What do you think?
I think firstly, there's a few things that you think about. I mean, number one is that the numbers, I mean, the business must be real. Okay. And then the business is there. The seller say there's 100 clients. There's really 100 clients. Yeah. Right. The numbers are there. The revenue are there. I think this is the first thing that you must get, right? It's fundamental. Right. Then whether the business is good or not, I think exactly to your point. Yeah. Right. I think there's no such thing as a perfect business. Yeah. It's really what you make out of it.
True.
Right. And there are many reasons to do a deal, right? But what you make out of it is actually more important, right? Because I think buying the business is just the first step. But Correct. What you're going to make out of it is actually the 90% of the job.
I feel so, because I mean the way I look at it is that as a SME owner, every day you are making so many decisions, like so many decisions, and if you compound all these the decisions over the next few years, the overall quality of the decision making process
Correct.
Will shape how the company becomes.
Correct. You will look very different.
Yeah.
Right? So after 1 year.
So it's really the day in day out decisions, the micro decisions that you make every day, how you even build the relationship with your staff, and how you build the relationship with your customers as well, that shape everything. But that's how I feel. So back to yourself, right? Grof your company grow, right? From able to share from the point where you acquire, estimated back then how many customers all the way until now?
So when we acquired the first business, it has maybe 70 customers, right? Today we have active customer. We have maybe 1,300, right? Customers. But the customer we have served that have gone away probably closer to 3,000.
Wow. So active one itself is
1,300.
So that's 24. somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think this is very important for all SME owner, right? So what's the magic behind your go-to-market or customer acquisition success? I mean, everyone wants more customer, right?
Correct.
I think they better learn from someone who 20x.
I mean, when I bought the business, I mean, within the first year, the business looked totally different really. Like even the original portfolio we bought, I don't know how many are left. Maybe one hand. I don't know.
Wow.
Right. I mean, literally, it's also the strategy or the growth, the strategy or the growth that we have taken now, right? And what we did was we buy into an existing business, right? And the existing business is in a way very traditional, right? There is no real like go-to-market engine, and when we acquire it, we always come with the view of the industry, right? I think being digital helps a lot, right? And therefore, from day one we were digital already. From day one we were on website, investing in the Google ad, investing in SEO. And then we start to do Google form, how do you sign online, right? And that was pre-COVID, right? And when COVID hit, we actually grew very well, right? Because we were one of the few that actually, few companies that can onboard clients remotely, okay? So that was in a way our pace of growth lah, okay? Gradually, I think that has sort of allowed us to sort of hit today's stage, right, where we grew. There's an engine. I think the important thing is there's a go-to-market engine, right? Because I think a lot of firms that in our industry or even let's say the smaller firms, right, the go-to-market is very dependent on the founders.
Yes.
Right, the personal relationship, the network, right, or the reputation of the founders, right? So and we have in a way purposely not build it that way. Right?
Nice.
We have like a sales team, a marketing team that actually does all these things, right?
Nice.
And it helped us because we can go on holidays,
Yes.
right? And the business still goes on,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's what we have done, and that's what we want to continue to scale this.
That's good. I mean, one of the things that I see among many business owners who wants to start a business is that sometimes for such businesses, not specific to any industry, the key man risk is very high, and you're reducing the key man risk here, which is I think a very good thing. I mean, whether planning for long term or short term, I think that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to it. Do you think that in Singapore or Asia, 100% seller financing or majority high percentage of seller financing can work?
I mean, I personally think very difficult lah.
Okay.
But I have seen at least one example that has more than 50% seller financing.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
One example. Which industry?
Building industry.
Oh wow! Is it because it's a very the owner has very limited buyers, interest party?
I suspect. I mean, I don't know the details. It's not the deal that I did, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know the details. But I suspect so. Right.
Yeah.
Although from what I hear is quite sexy if you ask me.
Yeah.
Right. But that apparently seems to be the case. There's not a lot of potential buyers, and therefore the structure evolved lah. Right. And I think in this kind of structure, I think the dynamics between the people are also very important. Right, because I think it is a kind of a loan from the seller, right?
Yes.
So the buyer and the seller need to have that good rapport relationship for them to even agree on it. So,
Yeah.
so I think it's quite kudos off lah for them to pull this off.
Got it. Okay. So only one.
Yeah, only one. Yeah. Normally it's less than. I mean, if you count
Yeah.
out as seller financing, it's normally less than 50%.
Yeah. It normally.
I don't know is that what you see also?
Seller financing, to be frank, I don't see that happening too often.
You don't count earn-out as it's separate lah.
By right, if you ask me, it's the same. It's like dosai and prata, right? it's like almost the same, but slightly different. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in a way, normally I don't see too many that No, in fact, I have not seen any that is more than 50%, except for one case. Yeah. So, not a lot. So, the next thing is that in Singapore context, right, in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges faced by SME owner when it comes to growing their business?
Okay, so I think about, let's say, Singapore business. Singapore business, let's say, focusing on Singapore as a market.
Yeah.
Right, not like Singapore selling to US. So I class them differently.
Of course.
Right, let's say Singapore businesses selling to Singapore, right? I think generally Singapore is a good market, right? In the sense that people generally pay well, people generally pay on time. People are quite obedient. People don't pay and then they run away, right? I think generally Singapore has a lot of traits like that, right? And therefore it's an attractive market, right? The problem with Singapore as a market is it's small, and because it's so attractive, it's very competitive.
You're right.
Right. So I think these are the kind of the two challenges, right? Like for our industry, I mean, small is one thing, right? It's definitely there's no way you can get around it, right? Unless you go overseas, right? But it also makes it the second part about being competitive. It makes it very hard for us to differentiate ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because you can come up with whatever thing you can imagine to do, right? Most likely someone else has also tried to do the same, right? And that in a way is one of the constraints to growth.
So I mean, you have a good point. Frankly, I do feel that Singapore market is relatively saturated. I do see a lot of overseas-based service provider trying to penetrate the Singapore market. Can't be helped, right? Of course, on that end itself, and the fact that you are a service-based business, I'm sure you also face the same thing as well. Overseas, like from Philippines, from India, from Malaysia, trying to penetrate into Singapore market. So, what do you do to make sure that you can hold on to your customer, right? And what do you do to build the brand identity of Grof?
So the way we think about it, right? Ultimately, in our industry, it boils down to a few things. I mean, price is one, service level is another one, right? You must be able to do what the client expects you to do, right? But in the way, these two things are counterintuitive, right? If your price is low, you cannot afford the resources to provide like super good service.
Yeah.
If you want someone to have like white glove service, right, then your price needs to be high. Then you can afford more manpower to support, let's say, a single client, right?
Yes.
So it kind of goes the other way. So that's the challenge of my industry, right? And the way I think about it, without these two, right, the third one is probably brand. Right, if let's say the price all looks the same, or Google review everyone has, let's say, a 4.8 star, right, then the next thing that people may decide to buy is actually brand. Oh, which brand have I heard of before? This one look like more reputable, right? And therefore today we spend some of our budget on brand building, right? Because I think it's important to build brands, cultivate people aware of us, prove ourselves to be a thought leader, reliable leader, right? But the problem with brand building is very hard to quantify.
Yes.
Right. I mean, we cannot say that, I invest X dollar and then I have this ROI next year, right? It's very hard to do that.
So for any, I mean, I'm not sure if this is even a good question to ask, but anyway, since we are into brand itself, so any SME owner who invests into brand building, right? Then in that case, they definitely need some way to measure it, right? And then how do you suggest that they can measure it?
I have no idea. Right. I mean, I guess if you are a big brand, you can do this kind of Nelson review, that kind of stuff, right? No, but if you are a small brand, I think you will not show up.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Then so for yourself, what do you feel is the biggest challenge in running an accounting firm in Singapore?
I mean, human talent is always the perennial problem, right? And human talent is not only about finding the right people, but giving them the right job, making sure they're aligned with the strategy of what needs to be done. Making sure they have career advancement to make sure they're happy and retain them. Right. So these are actually, I think maybe if you can get this like 80% right, I think you'll go very far already.
Wow,
right?
so human.
It's a human is everything.
Okay.
Right? Not only because we are a service firm, but even I think in any business, human is the important part, right? Because I mean, in service firm, even so, because the human goes all the way down to your lowest unit of production, right? But if you were to even think about, let's say, I'm a manufacturing where machines are building your widgets, right? The manager, the plant, GM, your QA, all these are also very important to get right also.
So back to this, right? Which I agree. Having engaged team of employees is essential. What is your tip towards for any SME owner, right? Because it's not like MNC, right, where they can pay like 200%. Recently, the newspaper, did you read it? The top 20 firms can pay 230% or I was like, oh, so I mean, SME definitely don't have this advantage.
Yeah.
So what tip will you give them so that they can build an engaged and relatively loyal employee so that they can continue their business?
Again, this is my personal experience, right? I'm not so sure whether it worked for everyone, right? Because I think what we have done successfully was to develop this cultural empowerment, right? And actually partially because we are lazy, right? and say, you know what to do, you go and figure it out and do it, right? So I think that a lot of our young leaders, right, they enjoy the kind of setup, right? Because they have autonomy, they have budget, to do things at a very young age without the CV or the experience, and I think this is one thing that I think actually attracts a lot of the let's say younger leaders to work alongside us, right? Because it just gives them the ability to learn, right?
Yes.
And accelerate their own learning curve also.
Yes.
Right. So I think that has and even today they surprise us what they can do, right? Without let's say the experience behind it, right? Of course there are. I think any team need to have a blend, right? You cannot have all the youngsters and then you don't know what are the regulations all about, right? You need to have a blend of the more experienced folks who know, hey, these are stuff you gotta watch out for, and then you have the younger energy to push all these things through also.
That's good. So coming back to talent, right? What is the most surprising or the most unusual talent that you have hired before in your 7 years? There bound to be some very thought-provocative one.
I think not really lah. I mean, I'm not so sure whether there's any thought-provoking talent. I think what I learned about talent is that they also move, right? And what I mean by move is that the same person, right? Let's say you get X salary, I get X salary, right? Hey, but you may perform 10 times better, right? For some reason, and that doesn't mean you work 10 times harder. It just means that you're more passionate, you add the value there. You may only work 20% harder, right? But you may be adding 10 times the value. So this is the thing about human, I think is quite amazing. Right? It's very malleable, right? And this is what sometimes surprises us, right? But I also say the other thing I also learned that your 10 times may not be forever.
True.
This year may 10 times, next year you may be only 7 times, and so it also changes, not only because let's say the personal circumstances, but even let's say the role or the project that you are given also, right? All these are factors, and therefore I think that's why human management or talent management is a field that is never ending, right? Because you got to assess and help help your team fulfill the best version of themselves in a way.
Got it. So how do you manage Gen Z, like the youngest? I don't think sometimes they may have different expectation, right? Sometimes during interview is one thing, coming to work is another thing, right? So how do you handle that?
I think I think how we do is that my company right? Actually, the average age is quite young.
What's the average age?
I would imagine late 20s. Right,
wow, that's
only quite young. So I think only me and my co-founder are maybe not more than 3% are more than 4% are more than older than 40 lah.
Yeah.
Right? And then everyone is just 30, below 30, right? So the average age is quite young. Okay. And I think generally young people likes to work with other young people. Right, and that ability for them to bond, I think, is quite valuable, and they will stick around for their own relationship also, right? Which I think again we try to support all these things, right? And again, coming back to our like empowerment, right? Like you said, SME, we cannot provide the best benefit. We don't have the best healthcare.
Yeah.
Right? The healthcare doesn't cover your family and all these things.
Yeah.
So we cannot do that. But what we do is maybe more special stuff, like because again, a lot of team are remote. So we give like our leads, right? What you call the Grof Bro budget. Right, so basically they have a budget every year. They can, I buy your bubble tea, I send to your house in Manila.
Oh wow!
Thank you for the good job you're done. So we give the budget for them to in a way spend and develop the culture. Right. In response to really our setup again remote, it's very hard for people to come together and go for a meal, right?
Yeah.
So let's have a meal together. But since you're in Manila, I send to your order and you claim from me, right? Then the rest were in Singapore. They can sit down and eat together.
Nice. That's a very unique touch to your own organization.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So I mean, these days there's like so many, so much news about AI, right? And even from M&A side of things, right? Anything that got the word AI just sounds a bit more wow. Right? Given AI and people do lose their job as well, right? Because productivity goes up, rather than requiring 10 headcounts, you only require 8 headcounts, right? So, in your opinion, how do a young professional or mid-career person can do to make themselves relevant in the next few years?
Very good question. I think to understand, to know the AI tools.
Yeah.
I mean your Copilot, your ChatGPT, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And to use it regularly, I think is a must-have.
Yeah.
Right. Must-have meaning that figure out what are the work stream you can just get the bot to actually help you. Right. I think it's certainly some of the work quality they turn out is quite amazing. I mean, it's not perfect. The humans still look at it, right? But I think certainly it helps a lot. The output are sometimes superior than what you can do in your 1 hour of research and then generate in 5 minutes, right? So I think that is something that every young people need to learn, and that's maybe the fundamental ones, right?
How many hours a week do you spend using on the likes of ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and so on? Yeah,
I think it depends, right? Because I think it depends on because as a co-founder, as a CEO, right? The work that I do is very varied, right? I don't every day do the same thing.
Correct.
Right. And that's what for me. I use the note method, right? Because I have something to do. I throw it into ChatGPT and then it churn out, and then I need to work on it from there, right? So certainly, some days I may use maybe 50%, 70% of my time is inside. Like some days maybe hardly, because the work output is there, it's outside already, and then I'm working on it outside, right? So I think that it's and it is the nature of my work, right? I will imagine if, let's say, my accounting colleagues, right, if they may be more suitable to use like the workflow like chunks, because there's a lot of repetitive work involved for their clients.
True. Okay. So far in your last few years, right? I mean, there's a general notion, right? Being an accountant is not so sexy, right? Is it easy for you to hire?
Oh, difficult.
So what happens to all the Singapore accounting grads?
So the history why we went remote, right, is really because we couldn't find anyone in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
We actually didn't think of like hiring from overseas.
Yeah.
Right. But it's really we can't find the talent in Singapore. Right. Then we have no choice but to try to go overseas, and then and then one work, second one work, third one work, and then then it become the price value become hard to justify to hire in Singapore, to be honest. Right. Because we have built a system, right, for the remote team to work already. I mean, it's still a blend. I don't think you'll ever be 100% remote. It's still a mixed team, hybrid team, right?
Wow.
But certainly, I think to justify hiring a local headcount is harder now from let's say a value dollar perspective. Okay, unless it's needed for certain work. Like for example, for my corporate secretary work, right? They require to have SingPass, so no choice. I have to hire Singaporean, right? But certain elements of accounting job where you require that local knowledge of, let's say, taxes or accounting standards, more likelihood you'll be locally based also. Although nowadays you can find a lot of Malaysians who are knowledgeable also. Okay, so that's depends, right? And the circumstance depends. So my theory is, firstly, accounting cohorts are shrinking. Right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's shrinking. So nowadays accounting cohorts are not as many people want to do accountancy. If you look at demographics, and this is not just I think globally, accounting cohorts are shrinking. Okay,
wow.
and then the CPA in a lot of the accounting seniors are in their 50s, 60s, about to retire. So the demographic is that there would be a shortage of accountants, right? Gradually lah. Okay, and my theory is in Singapore. And the thing about Singapore is a great country, great economy, right? And if you graduate from accountancy, maybe you are the top 1%. You want to work in maybe fintech. The next 5% are work in investment banking, whatever hedge funds, right? Then maybe the next 5% are work in maybe Amex, GE,
okay,
right? And then the next maybe the big chunk Singapore go to the big four lor.
Yeah.
Right. And then after you go to the big four, okay, you go to the next 8 lah.
Wow.
Right. Then after that, you go to maybe the accounting firm like Grof.
Wow, it's not easy, huh?
Right. Then maybe after that you will then go to work for the SMEs. So I think I generalize that. I think it's just I think there are also like personality. People don't like to do this and that kind of thing, right? But I think the general thinking is in Singapore, because there are so many MNC. That I think a lot of the fresh grads will want to work for the big companies lah, right? Which I think is great, because I think the established company give you a certain level of quality assurance, to be honest. Like the CV counts or something, the training counts or something, right? Whereas you work for SME firms, I think generally it's really you don't know lah. Right? There's a chance that it may be great if your boss is great, but there's also a chance that you actually don't learn much also.
You're right, yeah. I mean, the truth is, in my opinion, I think that people from SME may pick up certain skills that is by the left rather than by the right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that by the right way, it makes it easy for compliance, accountability, proper structure. But by the left, I think it really trains you on practicality, business acumen, resourcefulness, and problem tackling. Yeah. I mean, so back to yourself, right? Which are the countries where you have the most number of remote worker?
Malaysia.
So compare Malaysia and Singapore workers, right? Since you deal with this group, what do you think is the biggest differences? I mean, in the past, people always say that, hey, Singaporeans are very hard worker. I don't think that really holds true these days, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you ask me, right, really the biggest difference I would say is that they are in the office. And really in the office, it just means that you can transfer your knowledge.
Yes.
Transfer what you need.
Yes.
Right, a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right, train the person a lot easier. I think it boils down to that.
For any finance grad, if they want to have develop their career trajectory, right? What skills and traits do they need to develop?
Wow.
Because I mean, I do see that sometimes people just get stuck, right? Like doing the
Right.
same thing.
Right.
Like the permutation isn't too far off over the next 10
Right.
years if you extrapolate. But for some people, they just can so-called climb or hop around,
Right.
like Super Mario, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think is the skills, the traits, the attitudes, the mentality that is important for such professionals to drive?
So one thing I always think, right, when I first graduated, right? So again, I did finance, right? And I think a lot of finance folks, they are in a way introverted or a bit shy. At least me lah. Maybe not true for everyone else, but at least me. I was like, I don't want to do sales lah. Rather, I'm very good and I see I don't work my spreadsheet. I need to analyze, right? But then you realize as you go out to work, right? Sales is everything. You may not sell to external party, but you got to sell internally.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, you realize that actually soft skill is the part that is critical, right? And the hard skill, preferably, is a must-have lah. To be honest. Okay. But you also realize that as you grow up in an organization, right, the hard skill are done by the juniors. The seniors never do the hard skill. The seniors just need to know the juniors don't smoke them.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only thing that the seniors need to know. But the seniors all about hard skill, about soft skills, right?
Yeah.
How do you communicate? How can you be succinct? How can you be persuasive? How can you build relationships? Right? How can you manage your team? Right? So these are the softer skills which I think in the end you realize are actually more critical.
Yeah.
And probably more rare, right? And I also heard stories that people who flop at their hard skill but then have very strong soft skills will then just leapfrog all the people with the hard skills, right? So I think this is quite true, right? And other than all this thing, the whole thing about it's also all the thing about integrity, drive. These are all, I think, fundamentals, lah. Right? Again, my kids, I think these are the stuff I'll make sure they will have: integrity, drive. And drive doesn't mean you want to be ambitious, but just want to make sure you are improving, right, and doing well. That's all.
Okay. Do you feel that these days for aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, they are a bit too impatient for success? Do you feel so?
I would think so. I mean, personally, I'm also impatient for success, lah, right? But I think that at the end of the day, right, it's about also building foundation, right? I think generally there's a dream you want to achieve, right? And I think it's a balancing act, right, between I want to achieve it fast, right? Because the more hungry you are, the more ambitious the harder goals you set, maybe you can move faster also, right? But as opposed to building foundations, right? I mean, the example I will cite is because of my background, M&A, right? I always felt that I would want to eventually do M&A, more M&A in my space. Okay, and we actually started looking for M&A opportunities maybe 2 years ago, but we were a bit slow because we were like, hey, let's get our ops in order. My ops must see sui, right? Then I can book on new businesses. Then then everything will work very well, right? But it's like because the ops is not pretty yet or perfect yet, right? You keep on putting off, right? And then after a while, we do realize that actually ops will never be perfect, right? It will always be an evolving thing, right? It may look good, but it will not be perfect, right? And therefore, I think sometimes it's hard to make everything fall into place, and you just got to maybe run with it, right? When opportunity comes, and then that's a call we got to make, lah. Do we want to then chase it, right? And then fix the foundation later on.
You're right, because I think that sometimes, a lot of times, people are just waiting for things to be perfect. Yeah, and I think sometimes when you miss the boat, it takes a long time to come again.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing, right? Based on what you share, I mean, I do feel that Grof itself is successful in its own right, in its own domain as well. Can you share like what is the secret sauce?
Secret sauce. I think really the culture, lor.
Culture.
Right. Again, that's you ask me. That's probably the thing that I'm the most proud of.
Sure.
Right. How the team has come. We have our fair share of challenges, right?
Of course.
But when there's challenges, people don't back off. Right. And in fact, people double down to make it work. Right. And this is the part that I'm the most grateful for, right? And the part that I'm the most proud of, right? That we have come this journey because of the people that have really worked hard at it, right? And we hope to at some point be able to give like due rewards, and recognition for all this hard work that people have put in, right? And I think that's maybe at least one thing I really learned being an entrepreneur is really never say die, right? The perseverance, the ability to just go on, right? And push it through, lah.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Back to the last question, right? What is your favorite book? Do you even have a favorite book?
Yes, so recently I listen. Usually I listen to book. I don't really read. I like Great by Choice by Jim Collins.
Okay.
Right, he wrote a series of book. But why I like Great by Choice because it's about you can be great through the choices you make.
Wow.
Right. What you choose, what's the strategy, how do you approach certain things, all these things are things you can, and that basically anyone can do. Like, it doesn't mean that you need to be talented. It doesn't mean that the industry need to be perfect. Right. It doesn't need to have this economic tailwind, but just by choosing the right strategy, the right approach, you may become great. Right. So which I feel is very important. Right. As an entrepreneur to at least figure out the things that you cannot have control over to do well.
Okay. I think so. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I will be sure to read the Great by Choice by Jim Collins.
Yeah, Jim Collins. Yeah.
Jim Collins. Okay. So can for anyone who may have questions with regards to accounting, questions with regards to potentially even buying of business, you can ask Weng Leong for some tips. I'm sure he's more than happy to share with you.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to share.
Yeah. So Weng Leong, thank you so much for your sharing, and I think we learned a lot from you. So if you like this episode, be sure to hit the like button and follow us on Feyday channel. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.